Hello! Today we'll be talking about the 0.7972 patch for Manor Lords. There have been a lot of major changes, and we are going to break them down, what they mean to you as a player, how you can take advantage of them, and just talk about them. The first major change is the King's Tax. Every year after the 5th year, you'll be taxed per citizen. Every 5 years, the tax will increase by 1 treasury per person until year 15, then the rate will stop increasing. This was implemented in order to slow down the hoarding of wealth. Currently, there is no repercussion if you go into debt through this, although in the future there will be consequences. Within the difficulty section, when selecting a scenario, you have the option to increase or remove this tax. The biggest thing this does is it forces a player to implement their own incremental taxation policies on the people in their territory, which is going to reduce happiness, which in turn forces players to add more amenities for their people over time or go bankrupt. It's, in my opinion, a nice lean to get the player to do something that they should already have been doing. Next major change is they added the ability to do local-only trading, allowing the player to move goods from one region to another, although it will still cost regional wealth. Traders will prioritize whichever region is set to the best price. So rather than relying on the out-of-map economy, you can create your own economy in between your regions. This is good, as players can use this to fix mistakes such as running out of food or firewood by using their own regions. This also brings up opportunities to use rich nodes from one region to improve another, like using a rich iron node with a deep mine to provide iron for multiple regions so that they can produce weapons and armors. Crops are getting a fair bit of quality of life change. Land fertility no longer decreases after a crop is fully grown but not harvested. Plants will now yield some level of crop even if fertility hits 0. Harvesting a crop now puts the crop into the field inventory, making it quicker and easier to harvest large fields, and there's a lot less walking about. The plowing shed upgrade will now allow for 2 oxen rather than 1, so the upgrade got a major boost in strength. Plants will now yield less early on in their life, making emergency harvests less effective. Maximum yield per plant has been increased to 4 from 2. Auto harvest mode has been improved. They also fixed the oxen and field hands priority list to become more efficient in their tasks. Overall, this means farming is going to be easier and require less direct player oversight, which, given the style of game, is really good. The doubling of maximum plant yield also makes fields much more viable as a late game food supply when building mega towns or just large villages. And, well, that's kinda how it should be. Like, there's a reason bread is the staple food. The oxen changes make the town upgrade for the ability to use them within the fields a lot more impactful. I think the farms needed a buff to keep up with the other sources of food. This seems to have made it a lot better. Is it where it needs to be yet? I don't know. Another small buff might be needed. Now onto some minor tweaks and fixes. This is the list of what I would call the more important of the minor tweaks. Militia squad limit now increased to 6 regardless if you have retinue or mercenaries. This means that in order to maximize your party size, you no longer need to get 6 militia groups, then start getting retinue and mercenaries, which was a pain. Now you can let your army grow more naturally, recruit at a pace that is comfortable for you. You can also now retire militia regiments and change them out for different styles of units without permanently losing the slot for them. Ale consumption rate has been reduced by 75%. This is going to make it much easier to create and maintain tier 3 houses. Also, it's going to make it easier to improve population happiness, as the lack of entertainment debuff is going to be way less prevalent. The worker camp upgrade has been removed. If you were like me and used the worker camp upgrade on normal difficulty in order to springboard into happiness production faster, it just no longer works. Devs have completely nerfed this here, which is fine because it was kinda cheesy. Archer damage has been increased from 4 to 13. This is a massive increase, but honestly, it was needed. Previously, there was no point to ever have archers because every other form of militia did more damage while having more health, more armor, and often having shields, and better morale. With this, they have enough damage to actually do things. It still seems a bit low, so there might be another small buff in the future. Market oversupply has been changed, so the rate at which the value of a good decreases is more stabilized across the market, and goods that are critically oversupplied will still sell for half value. Overall, this is a rather nice change for people who mass export 1 or 2 core goods, as the good will retain their value better, and if you need to do a market reset to let the price rise again, it's actually possible. The market will now also stabilize over the course of a year, much quicker than previously. Sheep breeding has been capped to a max of 1 per 10 days. This is good because previously it was way too easy to get the upgrade and sell sheep in mass. Also, because the previous calculation used for sheep breeding quickly led to them overrunning the town and fleeing from not being kept in a pasture, it was way too quick. There needed to be a cap. This on paper is a nerf, but personally, I'm gonna count this as a bug fix. There is also a massive list of minor fixes, bug fixes, and crashes fixed. That's it for the major changes within the 0.7.972 patch. As an afternote, I was always a big fan of how OnePeg and Jesse Kazam would break down the patch notes for Tarkov, and well, I wanted to give it a try. It's kind of fun to keep up with how a game is changing in real time. Anyway, bye.